This is a live broadcast of Lunchtime News from our Pocketsio studios in Highlands, Harare. I am David Shumba with Piswe Zomunika on the sign language desk. In our first story, the 2024 legal year officially opens today, with the Chief Justice Luke Malawa presiding over the main event at the Constitutional Court in Harare. We now link up with our reporter Fungai Jachi to give us more. Good afternoon, Fungai. Please go ahead.
It is a good afternoon to you, and well, of course, today, Monday the 8th of January 2024, marks the beginning of the legal year, with the Chief Justice speaking on the importance of upholding the Constitution. He implored the judiciary and stakeholders in the justice delivery system to ensure they play a role in entrenching constitutionalism. The Chief Justice is also confident that the JSC will continue on the developmental trajectory as the Commission aims to construct more courts, especially in townships and rural communities. Well, last year we witnessed the commissioning of the Epworth Magistrates Court as well as a Magistrates Court in Chikombedzi. Well, the Chief Justice also noted the improvement in the handling of cases in the courts, as all courts except for the Labour Court managed to reduce their backlogs with huge margins. The major takeaway from this year's legal year official opening was that there is the need for everyone to obey the express commands of the Constitution. It's back to you.
Thank you, Fungai, for that update. Moving on, the 15 miners who were trapped at Red Wing Mine have been rescued following a 4-day-long search and rescue operation. We'll get more in the following report.
It was like a story of fiction. All the miners trapped at Red Wing Mine in Penalonga last Thursday morning have come out of the shaft alive after spending 4 days underground. Their rescue set the mining area ablaze with celebrations as the family, friends and the local leadership expressed the excitement following the success of the rescue operation.
Nandina zvanzi dzangu 4 tadziri pasi apa vanhu vanga vari 15.
Basa raitwa zvakanaka, tinozvitenda stereki. Mudzimwe nzvimbo ino yaramba kuti vanhu vatsakatikire pasi.
Munhu wese anga asvika pakupererwa nokuneta kuti what are we going to do, but Mwari wauya neimwe nzira. Toda kunzwa kufara nekuti vanhu vose wabuda vari 15 vari wapenyu vachifamba.
Vanhu vanga vakuexpecta the worst out of all this nezvatasvitwa nevanhu.
Goodson Madamusa and other brave miners who moved many meters towards the ground surface before calling for help spoke on their experiences and how they managed to survive. Theirs is a tale of bravery, hope and determination.
Rari mangwana ndo patakatanga kuti ngatsvage way kubera nayo. Takatanga kufidza way dzataiti madirection atafana kuchibira nayo kuti zvona akavharika. Toda chitanga kutsvaka pambane crack, sedza crack iroro naro. Zvakatora nguva ndiri kunyera. Takatanga kuchita kumwe kwacho kwataiti tatoona takudenga kovhwa chivhwa kwauya ka 1.
Ko utodavira ritotiza ridzoka vhe.
Tokwidza futi.
Mugodi wakatanga kuwa makuseni mswe Thursday. Asi takazongosarawo tiri pachikona chatakasara nacho. Sina kubatwa. Asi matani wese kubuda nawo anga avharika. Saka takazotanga kutofamba tichitsvaga podi pokubuda napo takazoona pakawira mbukitizi. Ndodza takatanga kuchera mai tichibuda panze.
Pane pakacherwa kunzi woku tobva tapinda pasi pacho pekuti hapana pekuti kadona achinziki pasi ndopata takawanda
Vakawanda
tese tiri kuzasi asina chikafu wakana
Manicaland Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Advocate Mishek Mugadza, who is also the local legislator, thanked the partners and government departments who joined hands to make the mission a success.
Ndinoda kutenda hurumende yedu inotungamirirwa nababa ED Mnangagwa. Hurumende iri responsive. Dambudziko ratinaro pano rakakura zvisingaiti.
tatombosvika pakuda kuluza hope.
The Minister of Mines and Mining Development, Honorable James Soda, who was leading from the front in the rescue operation, expressed happiness following the success of the operation, adding that an assessment will be conducted before mining resumes to ensure the safety of miners.
A total of 15 have come out, and we are very grateful about, obviously, about the load that has made these people to survive. But what we got from them is that the whole mine underground has collapsed, and this must be known by everyone that a proper assessment would have to be done before activities or operations resume at this mine.
Government and experts teamed up with mine authorities and other partners in the rescue operation, which saw technology including drones being deployed in an effort to make the rescue operation a success. Kenya's Chivushe, ZBC News, Mutasa.
A successful mission indeed, as 15 miners were rescued. In our next update, Zimbabwe recorded an over 11% growth in air passenger volumes at its main airports, spurred by the rebound in tourism and upgrading of its ports of entry last year.
Massive upgrading of the country's airports is yielding the desired results, as information by the Zimbabwe National Statistics Agency ZIMSTAT shows a remarkable increase in the volumes of air passengers during the third quarter of last year. The trend is also being attributed to the massive recovery of the tourism industry as well as business activities. ZIMSTAT states that over 600,000 passengers were recorded at the country's main airports during the period under review, a move the Association of Zimbabwe Travel Agents past president Mr. Ignatius Matungamire says will increase business confidence in the travel agency industry.
What has happened in Zimbabwe reflects the general trend of what has been happening in Africa. The recovery in terms of passenger movements has actually been quite surprising. Already by November 2023, the passenger loads were already at 99% of the pre-COVID levels. And we are expecting 2024 to be an even better year, to surpass the 2023 levels.
Even domestic and international flights registered an above 10% growth during the period under review.
This increase in the movement of passengers, incoming passengers, generally reflects an increase in the number of people coming into Zimbabwe, which will also translate into increase in foreign currency earnings for the country, thereby increasing also our balance of payment position. Not only that, we also see that the employment rates have been picking up as well. As you know, that the tourism industry, travel and tourism, they go hand in hand.
Government through the private sector has invested in the upgrading and modernization of our main airports to increase flights, boost tourism, attract investment, and facilitate overall socio-economic development. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
From a smelly dump site to a relaxing public park is the fascinating story of the new local Zhishawane Youth Center Park. In our next story, we explore how the former Shabani mine dump site has been converted into a public park in Zhishawane.
5 years back, it never rang in the mind of many that the old Zhishawane dump site could one day be turned into every man's treasure from mankind's treasure. Inspired by the biblical story of Eden, Clifford Mugia, a sculptor, he had to use his own resources to create the garden which has since become the talk of town. For 3 years, he toiled on his land, ignoring the ridicules from residents who thought he has lost his mind. All it takes is for a man with a vision to think beyond imagination and simply execute wisdom.
Inspiration yangu ndaiwana kubva muBible chaimo chaimo, kuti nharaunda chaiyo yakapiwa munhu kuti aichengetedze, sekupiwa kwakaitwa Garden of Eden kuna Adamu, akaipiwa kuti aichengetedze nenzira yekuona kuti zvirimwa nemhuka dziri panharaunda iyoyo dzinowana upenyu hwakakwana. Saka izvozvo ndo zvakandiinspire, uye ndichizivazve kuti nhau iri kungotaurwa napresident vamunangagwa kuti kwai nyika inovakwa nevene vayo, nzvimbo inogadzirwawo nevene vayo vari panzvimbo ipapo, kuti vakatangira pavarivo ipapo vamwe nekoko kana zvozotarirwa zvakabatanidzwa zvose chonguva chinhu chakanaka chinenge chipararira seguvi zvichiita saizvozvo.
To imagine that one day such a place would house a public and event space was just unthinkable for the local community.
I'm happy that this dump site has been turned into something usable. But no one's aware what chigara. Tichifema mweya wakanaka usiri polluted. We want to applaud people like Mr. Mugia.
Indinotomboshandirapo, like I operate a studio kunoko. Tinotomboshuta ma videos, ma music videos, pamwe even my photos ipapo.
Pari dangerous area, kuti even paitika ma rape cases akawanda, ma robbery akawanda. When the place was transformed, yakabaita a new place, kuti kuneva safe. Even my youth,
even across Africa, in Kenya, the rehabilitated Kibarani dam site in Mombasa has been transformed into a recreational park and tourist attraction site. Hence, the importance of the Zvishavane Youth Center Park. Karejushe, ZBC News, Zvishavane.
Meanwhile, farmers in Masvingo have been challenged to continue focusing on planting traditional grains and short-term varieties to ensure better yields.
Miss Audrey Muzandakwa Pirikisi is one of the communal farmers who has embraced the Fumvudza Intwasa program in Gutu district, and she has already planted her crops, which include 3 plots of maize and 3 of traditional grains. Given the recent rains, her crops are thriving and she is looking forward to a better harvest.
Ndakazotedzera ndobva ndaita zviminda zvitatu zvazvitatu zvemabahwe ndichizouya zvezvimunda zvitatu zvembeu mbesaliki zvinoti mapfunde nyemba zviyo. Ndarima ndichidaro ndakaona kuti zviyo ndakanga ndisina kumbobvira ndanasa kukohwa kumuzviyo kunyangwe kumapfunde ndichakusha mugeja, asi ndakaona kuti zvinotoita nekuda kwekurima zviminda zvangu.
The Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Dr. Anxious Masuka, who was on an assessment tour in Masvingo province, said the country has surpassed its Fumvudza Intwasa target, though some farmers are still planting.
Countrywide, we have done 11.5 million Fumvudza plots against our initial target of 9.5 million plots. And compared to last year, where we had done, over a comparative period, 5.5 million plots. The visit here to Maungwa, under Chief Maungwa, is to propel farmers to do traditional grains, as you can see behind us. This farmer has been practicing Fumvudza, and their yields have been increasing consistently over the past 4 years.
The Masvingo provincial leadership thanked the government for the presidential inputs and technical support.
Tinoda kutenda zvikuru program ya president yepfumvudza yatiri kuona kudai yakupa pundutso nemvura yauya kureva kuti mwaka uno watatakatarisa nzara mwaka wakutiitira zvakanaka.
Since the adoption of the Fumvudza Intwasa program, the nation and many communal farmers have become food secure. Mercy Matrina, ZBC News, Gutu.
Lunchtime News takes a short break. We'll be right back.
Feeling a little disconnected from the rest of the world? Reconnect with the hottest entertainment source on the continent. Dust off your DSTV decoder and get connected to non-stop sport. Kids channels for all ages, a local scene like no other, and international movies and series that'll blow you away. Don't get left behind. Download the My DSTV app to pick the package that's right for your family and your pocket. And reconnect today. DSTV, it's your moment.
ZBC Current Affairs. Leading the conversation on local, regional and international news. We bring you the stories that shape the nation and the world. Be it social trends, economic and political developments, State of the Nation addresses, independence celebrations, Heroes and Defense Forces Day commemorations, and other national events. We bring them to you as they happen. With an array of informative programming, we bring you face-to-face with the decision makers as we unpack complex issues, giving you a platform to be part of the conversation. You can choose to face the nation and combat crime while talking farming. But remember to keep your vision 2030 during this new normal, dominated by COVID Chronicles. With ZBC Current Affairs. Together, Sonke, Tese, we will track and implement NDS1 to realize a better Zimbabwe.
Welcome back. You are still watching Lunchtime News. Former long-serving Masvingo City Town Clerk Adolf Gusha, who passed on Tuesday, the 2nd of January, at the age of 66, was buried in Masvingo on Saturday.
Family, friends and government officials gathered at Mangwandi Cemetery in Masvingo for the burial of Mr. Adolf Gusha this Saturday, who passed on in Chinoi after complaining of chest pains. Mr. Gusha was described as a veteran administrator who had more than 30 years' experience in local government.
Uyu Gusha munhu anga achishanda zvinodadisa nyika yedu. Nokuti mukatarisa kuti makore mangani asenzera nyika yeZimbabwe anosvika 32 years. Kurova kuti munhu wanga ari chiteverera kuti nyika inovakwa nemuridzi wayo.
Munhu waibhilivha kuti kana munhu ari muoperating space yake unofanirwa kuita basa rake achiita innovative achibudisa maresults ake.
Family representative Mr. Tawanda Gusha said their family lost a leader who was a unifier and will be greatly missed.
Isu semhuri tanga takatsikiswa tichitungamirirwa naAdolf. Adolf aibatanidza mhuri dzose. Adolf waititira zvakawanda semhuri zvatingakwanisi kusanangura nechidimbu, asi zvakawandisa semhuri. Tinonzwa kurasikirwa kukuru nokuti anga ari munhu akatikoshera tese. Anga ari munhu anotiratidza gwara.
The late Masvingo Town Clerk stepped down from his post in 2019 after reaching retirement age. He was replaced by engineer Edward Mukaratirwa. Mr. Gusha is credited for putting Masvingo on the road to becoming a modern metropolitan city. Mes Martina, ZBC News, Masvingo.
We now shift focus to regional and international news, where Tanzanian motorists are switching to compressed natural gas-fueled cars as pump prices rise. The vehicles are viewed as cheaper as compared to those that use petrol or diesel, and more than 20 companies have been granted licenses to build CNG filling stations.
Vehicles powered by compressed natural gas or CNG are on the rise in Tanzania. This driver argues they emit 25% less CO2 and are 50% cheaper than cars that use ordinary fuels.
If you earn, say, $40 US, a person using petrol will have used not less than $16 worth of fuel. You can't compare that to someone using gas who spends just $8 and makes the same amount of money.
To cut costs, the government now plans to convert its fleet of vehicles from petrol or diesel to CNG.
Regions such as Dodoma, Arusha, Mwanza, and Beira. These are big cities with many vehicles that need this service. We can't transport this type of gas via pipelines because it's costly. We must invest in small-scale LNG liquefaction systems, put the gas in tankers, and transport it to these regions.
In March, the Tanzania Petroleum Development Corporation licensed 20 companies to build CNG filling stations, 9 expected by 2025.
Senegal has launched as Sub-Saharan Africa's first all-electric bus rapid transit network. The transit network was built by the China Road and Bridge Corporation, and more than 1,500 jobs have been facilitated by the new BRT system.
Senegal has achieved a new milestone in urban transport with the launch of the first all-electric bus rapid transit network in sub-Saharan Africa. At a recent inauguration ceremony in capital Dakar, Senegalese Prime Minister Amadou Ba hailed the project as a testament to the country's commitment to improving infrastructure and innovation. The system spans 18 kilometers with 23 bus stations and 3 hub transfer stations and was built by the China Road and Bridge Corporation. The BRT project manager said some 2,500 jobs were created during construction and now during operations.
The BRT network is expected to serve 300,000 passengers a day. This bus line will relieve traffic pressure in Dakar after being put into operation.
The new BRT system is expected to cut the commute time from Dakar's suburbs to the city center by about half.
Authorities in Japan say the death toll from the country's devastating New Year's Day earthquake has risen from 120 to more than 160, and efforts are underway to find more than 100 people who are still missing a week later. The Palestinian ambassador to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Tema Al-Masri, has condemned the genocidal war committed by the Israeli government against the Palestinians for the 9th day in a row. In a statement, the ambassador said Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his far-right coalition are exploiting the excuse of self-defense to empty the Gaza Strip of its population through murder, mass displacement, and by destroying all aspects of life in the Gaza Strip. He said Israel is doing this within the framework of its expansionist colonial plan aimed at erasing the Palestinian cause and liquidating their rights. Ambassador Al-Masri expressed the concern that Israel government continues to implement extremist policies, ignoring the international consensus to stop the war, protect civilians, and provide for their basic needs. That is all we had for you in regional and international news. Up next is sport news. In our first sport update, Zimbabwe have made a decent start in the second one-day international against Sri Lanka at the Primadasa Cricket Ground in Colombo. We'll get more in the following report. 2019 African champions Algeria go into the year edition of the Africa Cup of Nations as one of the favorites at the tournament set to begin on Saturday in Côte d'Ivoire. We now take a short break. We'll be right back.
Akili, akili, uyundi akili, alindi jisisi. Tuwali kalowa, akili aga.
ZBC Current Affairs. Leading the conversation on local, regional, and international news. We bring you the stories that shape the nation and the world. Be it social trends, economic and political developments, State of the Nation addresses, independence celebrations, Heroes and Defense Forces Day commemorations, and other national events. We bring them to you as they happen. With an array of informative programming, we bring you face-to-face with the decision makers as we unpack complex issues, giving you a platform to be part of the conversation. You can choose to face the nation and combat crime while talking farming. But remember to keep your vision 2030 during this new normal, dominated by COVID Chronicles. With ZBC Current Affairs. Together, Sonke, Tese, we will track and implement NDS1 to realize a better Zimbabwe.
Welcome back. Liverpool survived an Arsenal barrage to steal a place in the FA Cup fourth round in dramatic fashion as a pair of late goals sealed their gritty 2-0 win.
Plenty of those up and down the country, mixed with who you're going to sign. They're pressed by Saka, and Nelson coming in again. Odegaard can line it up here. Hits the crossbar. Kibia, Saka, blocked by Alexander-Arnold. Some Arsenal appeals for handball. There is VAR involved today. Arsenal fans feel, but here's Gakpo striding through, joined by Alexander-Arnold. It's a fantastic effort. One strong hand for Arsenal from Aaron Ramsdale as Alexander-Arnold whips it in toward Jota, who's very good in the air for a small man. Nunes maybe eyeing up something similar. There it goes. And there it goes, and it's in. Diaz leads the celebration. Alexander-Arnold put it on the money. And Liverpool, as you said, Stuart, undoubtedly. And Liverpool with a lot of numbers forward here. Luis Diaz wraps it up in style. No Salah, no Van Dijk, no worries for Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool. I talked about those 2-0 wins 2 years ago. A pair of them, they can do the same this season. They're back here in February in the league, but they're certainly through to the fourth round of the FA Cup.
Phil Foden scored twice as holders Manchester City cruised into the fourth round of the FA Cup with a 5-0 win over Huddersfield Town, with playmaker Kevin De Bruyne making a welcome return after 4 months out with a hamstring injury.
Neatly done, Alvarez. And finally in by Foden. And the holders open their account in the FA Cup for 2024. Penetrating run here from Mateus Nunes. The possibility for Bob. A moment to enjoy for Oscar Bob.
And it's just all about fitness for him, isn't it? You know, he's been told to make those runs, be a threat in behind, and
well, beautifully teed up and fabulously finished by Foden. The moment of the match. Oscar Bob, De Bruyne, possibility here, Doku! De Bruyne. That's the head of Rodoni and really fizzed back in there. And Sergio Gomez. There's the loss of Manuel Akanji to injury today for Pep Guardiola, but the bonus De Bruyne getting some match miles on the clock. in the end, every bit as comprehensive as we expected it to be.
The Chevrons are currently at 168 for 4 as they are playing on Sri Lanka. That is all I had for you on Lunchtime News from myself, David Shumba, Piswe Zominika at the Sign Language Desk, and the crew behind the scenes. Pleasant viewing.
Feeling a little disconnected from the rest of the world? Reconnect with the hottest entertainment source on the continent. Dust off your DSTV decoder and get connected to Non-Stop Sport. Kids channels for all ages, a local scene like no other, and international movies and series that'll blow you away.